That day, Yiwu turned 18. The whole family was very happy for him. They put a crown on Yiwu and made the young man a birthday cake. The father asked what Yiwu's wishes were this year. The young man smiled sweetly and said that it was a secret. Seeing his older brother playing secrets, Ye Yunfei immediately hugged his older brother and urged Yiwu to say what the wish was. Their parents asked Ye Yunfei to stop doing that and urged his older brother, who was starting to grow up. Finally, Yiwu said that his wish was that their family could continue to be as happy as it is now. But just as Yiwu finished speaking, suddenly a red light flashed across their house. A huge explosion occurred, and Yiwu's entire family fell from their apartment building. Yiwu could only roar, trying to grab all his family members who fell from the building. Suddenly, a very large monster appeared in front of Yiwu. This made the 18-year-old young man roar in fear until he came to his senses and woke up from his dream. It turns out that the whole incident that Yiwu just experienced was a nightmare he had when he fell asleep in class. The entire class stared at Yiwu because he had just shouted. The teacher at the front of the class was angry because his lesson was ignored. He asked irritably, did Yiwu find his history class so boring that the young man was sleepy, or did Yiwu understand everything? The teacher immediately asked Yiwu, what is Earth old age? Yiwu scratched his head awkwardly, then apologized for falling asleep in class. Yiwu didn't mean that. Yiwu explained he studied very late last night, so he accidentally fell asleep earlier. But when this young man wanted to explain the Earth age, the teacher immediately stopped him and told Yiwu to stand at the back of the class. In the end, Yiwu had to follow the order of his plan-oriented teacher. The teacher just remembered that Yiwu is a study fanatic. So instead of losing face, he told Yiwu to stand behind Saja. Then the teacher pressed several buttons on his desk, and a fairly large Earth-shaped hologram appeared. However, the shape of the land on Earth has changed. The teacher explains it is Earth all age. In the year 2036 meters, suddenly there was chaos in space and time. This made the entire Earth a playing field full of danger and opportunity. So it was called the Earth all age by later generations, and it was also their current era. The teacher also explained that apart from monsters that come randomly, humans also have levels that can be increased and the ability to develop various jobs and skills. After experiencing years of initial catastrophe, the 5 major alliances finally suppressed the monsters and established a new world order. Yiwu listened to all the material from the back of the classroom. This young man was aware that in this era full of danger and unknown, everyone was eager to improve their level. But Yiwu couldn't increase the level even after so many years. After school, Yiwu is kidnapped by Luo Feng and his gang. They thought Ye Hao was stupid and told the young man to pay the security deposit. Yiwu answered that in the past he had protected Luo Feng when he was being bullied by seniors. He didn't expect that it would be Luo Feng who would now ask him for protection money. To answer Yiwu's words, without further ado, Luo Feng immediately hit the young man in the stomach and said that at that time he was blind. He thought he had followed a genius level 3 martial artist when he first entered school. Unexpectedly, after entering school for 2 years, Luo Feng had already advanced to level 5. But Yiwu was still level 3. Without feeling, Luo Feng smashed Yiwu's head into the ground. Luo Feng even said that Yiwu was trash who couldn't level well. Luo Feng continued to beat Yiwu while saying every bad thing. When Yiwu's condition was getting worse, Yiwu's younger sister, Ye Yunfei, came and immediately kicked Luo Feng in the face. The girl didn't accept them beating her older brother. Seeing Luo Feng being thrown so far away, his 2 companions panicked. They were afraid of the existence of Ye Yunfei, who had reached level 7 even though he was only 16 years old. They were even more afraid when they heard rumors that Ye Yunfei had defeated a level 10 monster alone at level 7. With a fierce face, Ye Yunfei asked them to leave in front of him. In a panic, the school delinquents ran away from the Ye brothers. Even so, one of them still mocked Yiwu by saying that the young man was just a young man who could do nothing but hide behind his sister's back. After the delinquents left, Ye Yunfei approached his older brother and apologized for coming late. The girl also asked her older brother not to pay attention to what the delinquents said. Yunfei is sure that his older brother will become a great fighter one day. Yiwu rubbed her little sister's head and asked the girl to calm down. Yiwu was confident that he would become strong soon and would not give up easily. Even though he said that to his little sister, Yiwu was very aware that what Luo Feng said was true. He was indeed trash who couldn't level up. This young man had even checked the information from the calamity period to the present, and there had never been a situation where one's level could not be raised like Yiwu's throughout all these years. While walking home with his little sister, Yiwu asked himself, is he the only trash on the old earth? When he got home, Yiwu received a birthday surprise from his family. But this young man didn't look happy. He pouted with worry when he remembered the dream he had at school earlier. To prevent his dream from coming true, Yiwu invites his family to eat grilled fish at their favorite restaurant. At first, the mother complained because she had cooked a lot, but the husband tried to persuade her by saying that the food at home could be stored. What's important is Yiwu's happiness as the person whose birthday it is today. Long story short, That night, the family left the restaurant with full stomachs and satisfied hearts. They all looked happy and Ye felt relieved that nothing had happened to his family. But suddenly, a big explosion occurred behind them. The father swiftly embraced the bodies of all his family members. At this time, Ye looked at the source of the explosion and saw that an extremely dark gate had appeared behind them. Everyone ran away from the area because they knew that soon a monster would appear from the gate. Sure enough, a giant spider monster appeared from the gate. Everyone panicked even more and fled hastily. They didn't expect gates and monsters to appear in the safe zone like now. The Ye family couldn't just escape from the monster's presence because they were already trapped right in front of the ferocious monster. Because of that, the father came forward to fight the monsters. Before that, the father told his 2 children to run away to save themselves with their mother. With full confidence, the father jumped towards the monster and attacked it with fists filled with energy. Even though the father was only at level 10, he would not allow his family to be harmed. The father tried to attack the monster once again, but the spider monster managed to dodge and attacked back with slime and monster arms that were as sharp as spears. The father's body was thrown and this made the mother panic. The adult woman asked her child to leave while she ran to help her husband, but the mother's fate was worse. She was immediately hit by the monster's big arm, and with a terrible voice, the monster said he would eat her mother later. According to him, a level 10 human fighter would feel better. When the monster's huge arm almost attacked his father, Ye immediately shot an arrow and challenged the monster to fight him instead of fighting his father. Without saying much, the monster immediately attacked Ye, who looked troubled. Even so, Ye still refused and told his older brother to take their parents away while she would restrain the monster. Ye was so panicked that he couldn't move. This young man realized that his nightmare had come true. At a critical moment like this, he could only stand still with his body shaking, realizing that he couldn't possibly win against a monster that was at level 15, whereas he was only at level 3. Suddenly the monster stabbed Ye body, causing the girl to fall with a bang, quite a large wound on his arm. The monster came towards Ye while saying that the girl should be his food obediently. According to him, a young woman's body would feel good. When the situation became more critical, Ye was so scared that his body couldn't move. The monster's attack almost hit him again, but fortunately, his older brother arrived in time to block the monster's attack with his body. Ye asked his little sister to leave that place immediately because he couldn't hold back the monster any longer. Ye insists that even if he has to become monster food, at least he can be useful to his family. Suddenly the monster attacked Ye by stabbing him in the back. Even though he was in such a terrible condition, Ye still asked his little sister to immediately go to save himself. This time Ye followed his brother's words and ran for his life. In critical condition, Ye hoped that he was strong enough so that none of this happened. In his desperate condition, this young man still hopes that his level can be improved. To be honest, he didn't accept it because his level couldn't be increased and he was very weak. Slowly, this young man's consciousness disappeared. The monster laughed horribly when it realized that a level 3 trashman dared to challenge it. However, the system appears and notifies the host's accumulated X points have now reached the standard and that has been activated. As the host loses the ability to move, the system will randomly select a king account on behalf of the host. The system chose a king in red armor who looked very scary. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Ye tried to escape with the remaining strength he had. The girl kept apologizing in her heart to her older brother because she couldn't help her older brother. But unfortunately, the monster managed to block the girl's path. This girl realized that because she couldn't escape, she would take revenge on her brother. So Ye ran to attack the monster when suddenly a man's voice sternly asked him to dodge. Then as fast as lightning, Ye dashed with enormous energy to attack the monster. With just one attack, the monster's body was so large it hit the wall. Ye looked at the figure before him and realized that the man filled with terrifying energy was his big brother. Ye had already returned to his senses with immense energy. The young man asked his little sister to leave while he fought the monsters. Not long after, the monster rose again from the pile of buildings and attacked Ye again. According to him, a level 3 trash human couldn't succeed in attacking him. So he was determined to defeat and eat Ye. Of course, this young man did not remain silent. He immediately created an enormous sword from his newfound energy, then attacked the monster with the lightning energy released by his sword. The attack was strong enough to break several of the spider monster's arms. The monster didn't expect the man in front of him, a level 3 fighter, to manage to deal with quite a big attack on him. Even so, when he retreated for a while, Ye suddenly vomited blood. Ye suspected that this extraordinary power was beyond the reach of his body because at this moment his body seemed unable to withstand the power until it felt like it was being split in two. Seeing its opponent pushed like that, the monster laughed with satisfaction. He laughed at Ye's weak body which was unable to exert such great combat power. In his opinion, it was certain that Ye's body would explode. In his heart, Ye Wu confirmed the monster's words because his HP was almost gone and now his HP was locked by the golden transformation energy. He had to quickly defeat the monster before his transformation energy ran out, otherwise he would die. The spider monster walked in another direction while saying that trash like Ye Wu had no interest in him and was just a waste of his time. Even though Master King had helped him open the safe zone portal, so he had to hurry up to devour some more high-level fighters. Seeing that his opponent was about to escape, Ye Wu immediately created a fairly large circle of fire around them. Ye Wu asked the creature to stop and just go to hell. For a moment the monster was shocked to see Ye Wu's extremely energetic change in appearance. But suddenly a group of guards came to attack the monster. Ye Hao asked the guard troops to be careful and not approach the monsters directly because they might die. But some of the guards persisted because they thought there was no way that many people could be defeated by just one monster. They asked Ye Wu to leave that place because as a level 3 fighter, he was only disturbing their work. All members of the guard squad felt confident that they could defeat the spider monster. Apart from that, the monster's HP only had 30% remaining. But the monster didn't think like that. It quickly deployed a net from underground to attack the entire guard squad. In a short time, the entire guard force was caught and could not escape the spider's web. The spider monster laughed with satisfaction because it managed to get a lot of prey. The monster says this is what makes it like humans, they can't tell how tall their opponents are until they are easily defeated. After that, the monster absorbed all the EXP from the guard troops. Ye Wu panicked seeing that the monster managed to capture the entire guard squad. Moreover, when he saw that the monster immediately rose 3 levels after absorbing all the EXP of the guards. With higher strength, the spider monster approached Ye Wu and said it was the young man's turn to die. The spider monster immediately attacked Ye Wu with quite a lot of force. Even though Ye Wu could withstand it, he seemed quite unable to withstand the monster's attack. The monster said he didn't care about defeating a lower human like Ye Wu. As long as the level can increase, an earth-shaking transformation will occur. So while continuing to attack Ye Wu, the monster decided it would play Ye Hao to death and then eat him. Ye Wu was increasingly unable to withstand the monster's attacks. Ye Wu realized that the monster's strength had increased drastically from before. This young man was confused and asked what he should do because his energy was almost gone. The spider monster laughed again at Ye Wu, who looked very desperate. The monster asked where Ye Wu's fighting spirit was from earlier. Unexpectedly, Ye Wu's body was thrown away because he could no longer withstand the monster's attack. At this point, the monster says he thinks trash is trash. Ye Wu stood up again and with a serious face said that for 3 years he was always laughed at and insulted by many people because his level could not rise. Now he will show what kind of human strength the monster considers rubbish. Ye Hao activated a bigger attack with his sword. A huge flame appeared, creating a storm that surrounded the monster. The giant monster roared extremely loudly as its body was roasted by the mysterious flames. The monster realized that the fire statement was not ordinary fire, because in fact, that fire contained the Taoist rhyme of a powerful king. The monster was surprised and asked who Ye Wu was. Why was he able to create such a powerful attack? But before the monster got an answer, its entire body was already charred by Ye Wu's attack. Not long after, the system appeared notifying that Ye Wu had successfully defeated the Ghost Eye Demon Spider monster until he managed to get 20,000 EXP points. But suddenly, Ye Wu fell and almost fainted. This young man's body had truly reached its limit. But he was happy because he managed to defeat the monster. When Ye Wu tried to pick up the dropped item, his eyes slowly closed because his body was too weak. The system notified that Ye Wu had succeeded in taking all the drop items from the spider monster. But because the injuries on this young man's body were too severe, the 10,000 X points were automatically converted to repair the body, and the remaining X points were 10,000 points. The system automatically repaired Ye Wu's body until the young man's health recovered 100% very quickly. Ye Wu opened his eyes and was shocked to realize he was not in his own system space. This young man wondered where he was. And what place is that? Because that place was exactly like the vast space of the galaxy. It was filled with planets and stars and things he didn't understand. The system informs that since the global field conversion, each player has their own system space to observe and determine their attributes and store various equipment or. Ye Wu saw the figure of a man in red armor in front of him. This young man suspected that this figure was the source of his strength. It turned out to be the Cayenne King, who was at the maximal level. The system welcomed Ye Wu to the maximal level account of the kings. Apparently, the system has max level accounts from countless game planes. Ye Wu can use personal experience points to gradually open a king account. Since the host's accumulated X points have reached level 10, a random account has been automatically activated. From the notification, Ye Wu realized that his 3 years of hard work had not been in vain, but his EXP had been forcibly absorbed by the system. Ye Wu guessed that this way he would go straight to the top. The system notifies that even though the initial level of King Cayenne is at max level, the host still needs to use X points to increase the link level for each account. The higher the link level, the stronger the account can be used. It is recommended that the host get more X points as quickly as possible to increase the link level. Hearing the system notification, Yiwu just realized there is nothing too good in this world. But it shouldn't be difficult to use the King Cayenne account ability to get a lot of X points. But he thinks it's not enough. There are various copies of the known and unknown in this world, and although strength is the foundation, it cannot solve everything. Ye Hao thought about finding out the optimal use of the system as soon as possible. King Cayenne had the ability of a max-level powerhouse from another world plane. That power had been used to lead his own clan in the past. They used the power of Cayenne to unify the world, becoming the first generation of gods, and were named Cayenne Kings by subsequent generations. This account has a link level of 10, and the inflammatory attribute, or darkness. His weapons are Flame Shadow Greatswords. His basic fire attribute skills are quite great. From the notification, Yiwu knew his first small goal was to level up as soon as possible to open more accounts and then create a king army with all attributes. This way, Yiwu was confident that he would not have any weaknesses in attributes. The system notifies there are 10,000 X points remaining in the system. The host can choose to increase the account link level or unlock other additional skills. So Yiwu decided to increase the link level. The main priority now is to improve your survival skills and open an account. Skills and everything else can come later. The system immediately confirmed Yiwu's request. So quickly Yiwu's body was covered in bright light. The system says his account link is 2 and his link level is 12. Yiwu smiled happily when he felt an immense power enter his body. When he asked if his basic attributes had also increased, the system appeared and informed him that his level was still 3. Yiwu was amazed and wondered, was the system forcing him to continue behaving like an idiot pig? Suddenly Yiwu heard his little sister's voice and immediately opened his eyes. Currently, Yiwu's body is lying comfortably in the hospital design. This young man woke up and realized that his body did not have any wounds. He realized he was healed, but also his whole body. Even so, he really regretted having spent 10,000 X points. From inside his room, Yiwu heard his younger sister arguing with the doctor about the very expensive treatment costs. Yiwu smiled happily, realizing that his family was still safe, but it seemed that their condition was not good because they needed quite intensive care. The doctor explained to Ye Yunfei that the 4 family members were all affected by elite monster debuffs or poisons, and the medical staff had to use special medicines for long-term treatment so that all Ye family members recovered completely. And according to doctors, the only way to get rid of the poison is with long-term treatment to prevent death. But according to the doctor, the other 2 men were not so lucky. Without medicine, their father couldn't live for a month, but Yiwu couldn't live for more than a week. Hearing the doctor's words immediately made Ye Yunfei and her mother fall into great sadness. Ye Yunfei even coughed quite loudly because she was so shocked. The mother asked Fei Fei not to worry because she would find a way to get the money. The mother said they could sell the house or whatever to pay for medical expenses. But suddenly, a young man's voice prevents the mother from selling their house because the house contains their family's memories. Yiwu was already standing in the hallway and firmly said that the house was the result of their hard work and a part of their lives, so the house should not be sold. Ye Hao also said that I would find a way to raise money for maintenance so that the house would not need to be sold. Everyone was shocked to see Ye Hao standing up straight and in good shape. Ye Yunfei immediately approached her older brother and asked, "Why are you out of bed already?" Saying Yiwu replied that I was fine, so he asked his little sister to stop talking because it would make his body condition worse. The doctor was shocked to see Yiwu's condition, which had returned to health and fitness. The doctor even detected that the poison in Yiwu's body had completely disappeared. In fact, among the 4 male family members, you are the one who received the most fatal wounds and poison. So the doctor was shocked and asked how Yiwu healed himself so quickly. Yiwu answered that the reason was not important. The most important thing now was that he needed more treatment. So the young man asked the doctor how much money was needed for the treatment of all his family members. With a heavy heart, the doctor answered around 300,000. The doctor thought that there was something wrong with Yiwu, because the doctor knew that the young man in front of him was only at level 3 but his healing speed was faster than those at level 60. Yiwu begged the doctor wholeheartedly to treat his family because he would collect that amount of money within 1 hour. The doctor was even more shocked when he heard Yiwu's words. He asked how the young man in front of him collected that much money in just 1 hour. But even though it sounded impossible, as a doctor he was willing to give Yiwu 1 hour of his time. Hearing the doctor's words made Yiwu truly grateful. After that, this young man went out of the hospital and sat in the park while thinking about how to get 300,000 as quickly as possible. Although this young man had a habit of saving, even if he added the money he got from killing ghost eye demon spiders, the amount was still far from 300,000. According to Yiwu, the fastest way to make money was to sell items and equipment. and the most valuable thing in his storage space now was a rare level 15 magic crystal. Ye Hao stared at the crystal in front of him, hoping that it could be sold for a good price. The system's description of the crystal was that after defeating a monster, a drop item would appear, and the crystal was the basic material for making magic equipment. The higher the level, the more valuable it will be. Ye Hao thought that if he went to a normal auction house, although he could sell at a standard price, it would take a lot of time and couldn't be finished in an hour. And there was a level limit on the sender, and a level 3 fighter like Ye Hao had no chance at all. Ye Hao really had to rack his brains hard to earn that much money in such a short time. Finally, Ye Hao decided on the only way that might work. The young man wanted to step into the narrow hallway. This young man knows that under the shadow of this safe zone 9, there is an underground black market that anyone can freely trade in regardless of their level. The prices of goods on the black market were secretly manipulated by several large power groups, which could be said to be a mixed place. If he had changed from before, he would never have come to that place personally, but now with the greatest need for money. When he arrived at the entrance, this young man was confronted by two large men. They said that that place was not a place for little devils to play, so they suggested that Ye Hao leave that place immediately. Ye Hao said that he knew the place and no one would go to the black market to fool around. This young man explained he had come to sell his goods. A man who had a wound on his face laughed at Ye Hao's words. He said that his black market does not accept children's toys. Ye Hao explained that he came to the place with good things to sell, so he asked to be let in because he was in a hurry. The other big man immediately grabbed Ye Hao by the collar of his robe and asked harshly what good things a little kid like Ye Hao could have. They were very impatient and told the young man to leave immediately before their patience ran out. But the rude attitude of the two gate guards had to be stopped by an old man who came out of the balcony door. The man says when he opens the door for business, then they will try to make a profit from good things. According to him, everyone can trade freely as long as they have good goods. Finally, the guards obeyed and remained silent before Elder Lai. Then the old man asked Ye Hao to show him what good things were brought. Ye Hao opened his robe and asked everyone to take a good look at the red gem he was carrying. Elder Lai was shocked to see such a rare crystal stone. The guards didn't expect a young man who was still at level 3 to have such a rare crystal. Elder Lai asked his guards not to discuss it in his business. Then the old man asked his guards to bring Ye Hao in. When Ye Hao walked into the first floor of the Black Market Trading Center, he was very amazed to see the very modern and advanced conditions in the room. This condition is very different from what was previously imagined. The place was more like a bar, plus there was a beautiful female waitress who was very flirtatious. Ye Hao thought it seemed like the boss of that place had some way of getting the buyers drunk and having fun. Suddenly, two men stopped Ye Hao's steps. They laughed at the presence of a level 3 newbie like Ye Hao. They even asked Ye Hao to immediately go home and drink the milk like a child. When they intended to bully Ye Hao further, Elder Lai's guards immediately stopped the two foreign players and said that Ye Hao was Elder Lai's guest. So do they dare to cause trouble with guests from the Huangzhen group? Hearing this, the two big men immediately let go of Ye Hao. When they saw Ye Hao being taken away, they complained because their prey was taken away by people from the Huangzhen group. Meanwhile, in a special VIP private room, Elder Lai welcomed Ye Hao with a friendly smile. So without wasting any time, Elder Lai said, although the magic crystal in Ye Hao's hand was indeed good, after all, it was only level 15. So the price was not high. Ye Hao smiled slyly. He didn't expect the price to be lowered in the transaction process. Ye Hao now realized that the old man in front of him did not want to give a fair price. Although Ye Hao was only at level 3, he was not a 3-year-old child, so he can still find out whether things are worthless. This young man asked to be given an attractive price because he was in a hurry. Elder Lai laughed at Ye Hao's words. He realized Ye Hao had decision-making skills, even though he was only at level 3. However, Elder Lai explained that if it was an ordinary magic crystal, it would be worth 1 or 2,000, but because Ye Hao's rare magic crystal was rare, then it would be purchased for 100,000. Ye Hao was surprised to hear such a small nominal amount. He stood up and said he no longer wanted to do business transactions because he was treated like a 3-year-old child who was easily deceived. Ye Hao knew that although the price on the black market was lower than the auction site, his magic crystal was worth at least 200,000. Ye Hao intended to leave the room to look for someone else who would buy the crystal at a high price, but the exit was immediately blocked by two big men. Then Elder Lai said that when the young man came into his room, he would have no other choice but to sell his goods to Elder Lai. After all, no one out there would ever dare to refuse what the Huangzhen group wanted. Ye Hao looked at their preparations and asked in his heart, did they really want to fight in the first place? Even though on the black market everyone should sell freely. Ye Hao thought about using the Cayenne Emperor's account to get out of that place, but even if he could get out, the chaos caused would be detrimental to him. It is even possible that the young man will not be able to earn any money at all, and that will make caring for his family even more difficult. Elder Lai threw a bundle of money on the table and told Yiwu to accept 100,000, which was definitely a lot of money for a kid like Yiwu. This black remote youth stared at the money on the table and thought, can he just accept the money and have no other choice? He didn't expect to encounter something that couldn't be solved with strength this quickly. Yiwu really felt very unlucky today. But suddenly a voice came from outside the door saying that he didn't expect a respectable group like the Huangjang group to have business with a kid who was still at level 3. He thought it was very embarrassing, so he asked his aide, who was very tall and wore a mask, to get rid of him. People blocking the VIP door. After that, the young lady entered the room and said, I would join this business because I heard there was something good. Apparently, that woman is Miss Mo here. Elder Lai was astonished to see the woman and asked how she dared try to steal his transaction. Miss Mo answered that stealing is a very bad word, even though the black market regulations clearly state that trade must be proportional to the price and quality of the goods. Miss Mo also reminded that the older Lai should know the rules better than them. Yiwu glanced at Miss Mo and realized that I had heard of that woman's name. Miss Mo approached Yiwu and coquettishly said that the magic crystal that the young man had was very interesting, so I would bid at 300,000. Elder Lai immediately stood up with a shocked expression. He didn't expect Miss Mo to bid at such a high price, even though Yiwu only asked for 200,000. Miss Mo said that I am very rich and very stubborn, but I am not like the Huangjang group who have the heart to rob a level 3 kid's things. So according to her, the old diarrhea spent 100,000 more to protect Yiwu. Miss Mo thinks this sale is worth it. Annoyed by Miss Mo's words, Elder Lai immediately left with his guards. Miss Mo waved goodbye to Elder Lai and wished them to meet again when there was good stuff. Seeing the interaction between the two of them made Yiwu remember that the relationship between the Huangjang and Hanmo groups had long been hostile in the 9th security zone. But this young man did not expect that he would meet and benefit from their troubles. Realizing that the woman in front of him was very rich, Yiwu immediately thanked her while seducing her. Yiwu also tried to offer some other things to Miss Mo, but Miss Mo's face quickly changed. I immediately rejected Yiwu's offer and said that the young man didn't need to thank me. Miss Mo only deliberately used the opportunity to cover up and insult Elder Lai. So Yiwu's business actually had nothing to do with that girl at all, but I happened to be in front of Yiwu's path. Miss Mo walked out of the room while asking her bodyguard to give money to Yiwu, then ignored the crystal. After Miss Mo left, Yiwu smiled with satisfaction because I managed to get the money needed. Meanwhile, at the hospital, the mother and Feifei were still busy crying over their father's increasingly critical condition. But suddenly the hospital director, who had a very fat body, burst into the room and got angry because there was a patient who didn't want to pay the hospital fee. The director asked why the patient was still being treated at the hospital. The doctor tried to explain that they had already paid the money for the emergency room and were waiting for the accommodation costs. The fat director became increasingly angry with the doctor. He even grabbed the doctor by the collar and said in annoyance that he was opening a hospital, not a welfare institution. According to him, the life of a cheap person is not as expensive as the medicine he has bought. Even so, the doctor still tried to explain that the son of this family was collecting money so they could still wait a little longer. Because of his words, the doctor got an extra hard look on his face. According to the director, the level 3 fighter was just a child, so there was no way he could collect 300,000. Moreover, the nutrition given to their father was very scarce. The fat director cruelly said that even if the parents were sold, the money would not be worth it to pay for the nutrition they had bought. But even so, they still want to cure the disease. According to him, it was a waste of money. The fat director tried to grab his father's body, but Feifei stopped the director and begged his father for help in a moment. Feifei tried to convince the director that soon her older brother would definitely come back with the money they wanted. There was a commotion between the two of them because the fat director really wanted to remove the device attached to his father's body, but Feifei tried to hold it back with all her might. Until finally, the fat director pushed Feifei's weak body. It was at this time that Yiwu came into the room while kicking the door. The young man asked the fat director to stop abusing his family. Seeing that the hospital door was broken, the director was angry and immediately grabbed Yiwu's clothes. The adult man asked who the young man in front of him was, and why did he have the audacity to break down the hospital door. The director asked if Yiwu had the money to compensate for the door. Instead of answering all the director's questions, Yiwu instead asked with a terrible expression, "Was the director's dirty hands the ones he used to hurt my family?"